Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna go and do a review of Absolute Power, issue number 1. It's a mini series. I guess you call it the major summer event of 2024 for DC Comics, and it's called Absolute Power by Mark Waid and Dan Mora with Alejandro Sanchez on colors. So I'm gonna do a quick review, quick breakdown of it. Just read it, and it's a pretty ambitious story, to say the least. Let me just say from the get-go, the superstars of this book is the art team. Dan Mora and Alejandro Sanchez have produced an absolute gorgeous comic book with absolute gorgeous art. It jumps, every character is done with care. They all jump off the page. There's a lot of obscure characters who, Mark Waid puts a spotlight on, and it's a refreshing thing to see Animal Man, to see Hawkman, to see Aquaman, to see a lot of heroes that for some reason DC Comics has put on the back burner. It's very refreshing to see all these characters, and I'm not surprised because Mark Waid, he has a deep knowledge of DC Comics lore. They're the obscure characters. He has a fondness for characters like the Doom Patrol, Mark Waid, Metamorpho, Hawkman. He uses the past. He uses the DC Comics rich history, rich array of characters that they have. It's very refreshing to see all these characters, have a voice, be on the spotlight, see some action, even though they're seeing action as they're being attacked and stuff like this. Look at this. Look at this. Aquaman just looks amazing. I love this little detail how Dan Mora has put a particularly dark shade with a specific shading. It's shiny, but it's also kind of dark, kind of armor like, and the short hair, the beard. It's a combination of several Aquaman versions combined, and you see a lot of like I mentioned, a lot of obscure characters. So Mark Waid is very talented in that sense, man. I'm a big fan of Mark Waid. I think he is one of the best writers in the industry today. I know there's some pundits out there. There's a lot of reviewers on YouTube. Not a lot. Some reviewers on YouTube that have issues with his personal politics and shit like that. I do not give a fuck about things like that. I like what's put on the page. That is what matters to me. And Mark Waid has produced some very legendary, iconic DC comic stories, like Kingdom Come. That's his. That's the crown jewel, I would say. Tower of Babel. He had a good run on Justice League of America back in the 90s, along with Grant Morrison, and so you know what I'm saying. Absolute Power. I was looking forward to it, but let me continue just praising the artwork on this book. It is just amazing artwork. They are the superstars. Dan Mora, DC Comics, hold on to this guy. He is amazing. He's up there with Aaron Rice. He's up there with Eddie Burrows. He is up there with a lot of the good artists. Jason Fabok, who did 3 Jokers. He's Dan Mora is so his art is so dynamic. He reminds me of George Perez, yet a little bit more modern, more dynamic and stuff. So it's just it's great stuff, man. The art And Alejandro Sanchez, I had not seen his name out there too much. He is the colorist, and he just makes every page jump out, man. So this book is a solid 10 as far as the art is concerned. It looks gorgeous. It the art, every superhero looks godlike, looks amazing. The villains, everything. Now on to the story itself. Um, I would say Absolute Power is very ambitious. Um, it's not a perfect story. Some things don't make sense. Um, I have a lot of nitpicks. I have been reading DC Comics for many years now, decades. I'm primarily a DC Comics fan. I love the Marvel universe as well, the Marvel Comics universe, not the Disney stuff, the real Marvel. Uh, but yeah, DC Comics is my prefer, um, my favorite. Superman is my favorite superhero. So there's a lot of cool stuff that I love. So I know the history. I've been reading DC Comics for a long time. Most of the Justice League runs, most of the Suicide Squad runs, most of the Superman runs, Batman runs, Aquaman, obscure characters like the Demon, obscure characters like Metamorpho, the Doom Patrol. If they had outgoings or miniseries, I have probably read them. I have probably bought them, and yeah. So there's this story is ambitious. I am not fond of making Amanda Waller some kind of major supervillain that is going to bring the whole DC universe down to its knees. And that's basically the gist of this story. It's Amanda Waller, for some reason, and I'm surprised Mark Waid is part of it, but I guess he's going along, um, has decided that this, Amanda Waller, who's basically Amanda Waller is a great character when she is, she's one of the main characters of the Suicide Squad lore. She's a government head, kind of a secretive part of the United States government that handles obscure missions involving superpower beings, and she has always been the head of Task Force X, which is basically the Suicide Squad, and it's dark stuff. Is the government doing shady stuff, using supervillains, forcing them to perform dangerous missions that are for the good of the people, for the good of the government, for the good of the world, but they are not necessarily missions that the public will admire. So that's the gist of Amanda Waller. But Amanda Waller, although she is she's good at handling secret missions like this, and she's good at handling teams with characters that don't necessarily have good morals like the supervillains in the Suicide Squad, and she's okay with killing people, and she's okay with doing this stuff for the good of the people. At least that's her motivation. But she doesn't have superpowers. She's not a Lex Luthor. She has never been that. She's never been a major supervillain that is gonna go head to head with the Justice League or the Teen Titans or the Doom Patrol or things like this. She has clashed. She has a history of clashing with superhero teams. But this, she has been in this story, she has been amped to a level that I'm not comfortable with. She has way too much power. I don't understand why anyone, like a female Brainiac, like a robot that Batman built called Failsafe, and why a Meso, or how she would come to control such beings and to have them do her bidding. In the story itself, she has found a way to depower basically 100% of the superheroes in the DC universe, on the DC planet Earth, and that includes magicians and godlike beings like the Spectre. She has done it all through with the technology used by a Meso, and also there's a Meso is not by himself. There's the female Brainiac, who has only just come to light, so it doesn't make sense that she is already, you know, part of a major crossover event, but she's being used as a weapon to an extent, and Amanda Waller is using her, and she's using a Meso, and a Meso has like a family. There's an army of Mesos attacking superheroes, and superheroes are being sapped out of their powers. How do you do that? How do you sap the powers out of Shazam, whose powers are magic based, or Justice League Dark, who has Satana, who has Constantine, and characters like this, who by any means, who by all accounts, Amanda Waller shouldn't be able to touch. You know what I'm saying? And there's a little dialogue where it says that the multiverse has been closed. Access to the spaceways has been closed. There's no help coming, and this is why I say that the story is ambitious, and but it's just the first issue, so I'm going to be optimistic, and I'm gonna decide to trust Mark Waid and see how it plays out. He will come through. I'm hoping, and I'm guessing that he will come through and explain all these power plays that a simple human being, a simple government head like Amanda Waller has been able to do, like manipulate or have failsafe, like who is basically a Batman, a Meso that he built out of all idiotic things Batman could ever do, is joining forces, and and then the female Brainiac, and whatever happened to Brainiac, and I hope we also hear from the supervillains in the DC universe. Are they okay with Amanda Waller doing this? What happens to Lex Luthor? What does he think? What does Darkseid think? What does characters like this think? So the story is a very ambitious story. I'm looking forward to what's coming up next. I'm gonna trust Mark Waid that he does his that he comes through with this story. It's just the first issue, so I'm not gonna be so harsh on it. But yeah, like I mentioned, the superstars of this book are the art team, Dan Mora and Alejandro Sanchez. They just produced a gorgeous looking book. There are little things like, for example, this panel here. This is an assistant or some sort on the Daily Planet. And how do you come to those decisions that this character walks in, she's a female, and she pushes Clark Kent aside for no reason at all? Those are little tidbits that I'm surprised Mark Waid is going for. I just don't understand little moments like that. They scream woke stuff, but it's minimal. It's in this panel, and aside from the Amanda Waller, this woman, all of a sudden she's a major supervillain, bringing the whole DC universe to its knees. It's, yeah, there's no other word to use but ambitious. But like I said, I'm gonna give it a chance to play out. I'm not gonna be so judgmental on the story yet, because it's a mini series and you gotta let things play out. You cannot be harsh, but I'll trust Mark Waid. I'm a fan of Mark Waid. He has done great stories in the DC Comics universe before, so I trust him. But at the very least, I do recommend this book just for the art itself. I mean, they all look amazing. It looks amazing, and it's paced. There's a lot of action. There's not much talking heads. It's fast paced, and it's action packed. They all look great. So I recommend it. From a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this first issue a solid 8. I think it's a pretty good book, and I do recommend it. Amazing cover, and let's hope for the best. Thank you guys for listening. Give me likes or dislikes, and please some comments. Thank you. Peace.